Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and today I've got fountain pens. Can you believe that? I have fountain pens. Yes, 2 of them, and these cost less than a latte, both of them combined, and even one of them costs less than the average cup of coffee around here. So, $1.40. Can this pen be any good, and what is this pen? This is the Jinhao 166, and it's an interesting little student pen, basically. It's a good knockabout plastic pen for $1.40, but here's the thing. Cheap means a couple of different things. Cheap can mean that it is inexpensive, and that doesn't mean that it's good or bad, except for your pocketbook, which means it's good. But inexpensive can be very good if the value and the quality are there, and so that is what I want to share with you today, and hopefully get the answer to for you. Because cheap can also mean one other thing. Cheap can mean total garbage, and I don't like it when I'm hoping for something that's inexpensive and a good value, and I just get garbage. And I don't put a lot of those pens on here. Sometimes I do because I do want to steer you away from them, but most of the time I just don't even bother. These, though, I'm sharing with you because I think they're worth the bother. They come in all kinds of colors, and I'll put a picture up here of all the different colors that you can get. But these 2 were the 2 that caught my eye. This one, I thought, my wife might like that, and she did. You might think this is my favorite color because of the wall. I don't like that wall. I'm a blue guy, right? But I do really like green, and I actually like this. And if my wife hadn't taken it, it might have gone to my mom because she likes that color too. But they've got colors for everybody, and they're well done and seem to be pretty well made for, an inexpensive plastic pen. Let's look at style, and I'm not even going to bother flipping the camera. We're going to do this quickly today. Style, you have this clip, which I think is great because it's functional, it's steel, it clicks with authority. You probably don't want me to do that again. And it has the holes, just to kind of break up the monotony of that big metal clip. Now, I don't know how many holes there. I don't know how many holes are in there. I can't speak because I can't wear my glasses. I don't even know. Are you guys even out there anymore? Okay, so it has all of those holes that, that helps the airflow. It's aerodynamic and efficiency and cooling. If you get writing too fast and the pen cap gets hot because you've got it posted and you're getting at it, it helps cool and vent things a little. Yeah, right? So anyway, this may look a little bit familiar in some of its styling. For example, if you look at the barrel and the grip, we'll put that cap aside for a second, it's going to remind you of a something, of a something. Maybe the Pilot Kakuno. The cap will not. The caps are different shapes. They're different styles. One is clipless. One it has a good clip. And the sections are actually different lengths. They're not at all just, a clone of a Kakuno, but there are similarities. The shape, if you can see that, of the ergonomic grip is actually quite similar. And they feel pretty similar in terms of that shape. You will find the edge of that barrel sooner on this because of its shorter section, but not an issue. Really, really comfortable pen. And the Kakuno, of course, a little bit longer section. They do have a major difference. That difference is, if I can get that to focus, the nib. Do you see that? Of course, the Pilot has a Pilot style nib, and the Jinhao has not a Jinhao style nib. It has a Lamy style nib. In fact, not just Lamy style, it will fit on a Lamy and vice versa. So that gives you some versatility, gives you some options. In fact, I have another Jinhao, the Jinhao 35 that I'll review sometime in the next few weeks that has this same style. Well, it has the same nib, the exact same nib. And on that pen, I actually have that nib off, and I have a nib from Bobby that is for Lamy and Lamy style pens that I really like, and I'm going to basically share with you what I like about that nib and that pen at the same time here in the near future. But like I said, it has a clear ergonomic 3-sided grip section, but it's that smooth Kakuno style instead of the Lamy style. And I find that, and I think a lot of other people do, I find that more comfortable, but with this excellent Lamy style nib. So, it's a mishmash. a Franken pen, maybe you might think. And then you open it up, and of course it has the converter. And I will put up here in the words what size converter that is. I meant to write that down, but I didn't. So I'll share that with you when I do the editing. But it does come with a good converter with a pretty good volume for a typical converter. I think it may be the 3.4 millimeter converter. Anyway, it does include that, and then would take that size cartridges as well. But what I'm really interested in this pen is how does it write. And in that case, I will actually be able to share with you both the fine and the extra fine nib. So now let's flip that camera and get to our writing test. Okay, so this is the extra fine, and I forgot to show this again, but of course it does post very, very well. The only thing I will say about writing with this pen posted is that when I have it like this, sometimes the edge of that cap does kind of bother my hand. So, that's a reason to write with it unposted, which of course it's plenty long to do. So this is again the Jinhao 166, and this one is the extra fine nib, and of course at $1.40 I think it's steel, right? And this is a Pelican dark green. As you know, that's one of my favorite green inks. It's in that 4001 series, so that Pelican puts out. So just a reliable ink. I find it writes well in so many pens. That's why I like to use that. And as you could see, I wrote that a little bit quicker, or more quickly, and so it keeps up no problem whatsoever. And let's just I'm going to let you listen to the extra fine. Check for wetness, and it's good for an extra fine. That's actually kind of wet, dry for a lot of mediums or whatever, but I think that's good. There you go. That gives you some idea. This is just a normal steel nib, so it's not made for variation or anything like that. But I think you'll notice that writes a really nice line, and it wrote very smoothly. I know that you can hear some of that is the texture of this paper, some of it is the pen, but it's not a feedbacky loud pen or anything like that. I think it writes quite well. This is the fine. So in the fine nib, it's not a whole lot thicker actually, just a little. You can tell it is thicker, and I have a blue ink in this. I can't remember for sure. I think it may also be, I'm going to write it down as if it is, because I think it is a Pelican blue, the royal blue, I believe it is. And this too writes really well. And of course it's a fine instead of an extra fine, so it's naturally going to be just a little bit smoother and just a little bit wetter, but not a gusher by any means. And you can just see both these pens write really well. Both have been very reliable. They have a good feel. In being like the Kakuno, then that's actually a good thing in that the Kakuno is an awesome pen. So you get a very similar feel and a similar writing experience, but with I think, some advantages of this Lamy style nib. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons of the Jinhao 166. I think one of the pros is this, value. As I said, it's the good kind of cheap. It writes well, it's a durable pen, it comes with not just a good nib, but a good swappable nib, and I think at $1.40, those things are hard to argue against. Maybe some people will feel like it's, even though I think they've made some great differences between this and the other pen that it shares a very similar grip with, there'd be some people who say, yeah, I wish they'd been a little bit more original. In some ways, They have been. You might think of it as original as a Franken pen rather than as a pen with new developments. It's not innovative at all. But the pairing of a Kakuno-like grip instead of a Lamy-style grip, but with a Lamy-style nib, how many places can you get that? It's kind of cool. If you like Lamy nibs, but you don't like that Lamy grip, but you do like this one, yeah, now you got something, right? It's a good pen to test bed other Lamy style nibs because you've got a good pen and you've got that easily hot swappable nib. And then if you always like the idea of a Kakuno, but you need a clip, I don't know who you are, but you could be somebody. You got one. It's there. What else? Value, durability, some ability to swap nibs and things like that. I think those are all good. Oh, one more. If you want a pen to keep around that you can just give to people when they're curious about fountain pens, and maybe you're somebody who likes to kind of be a fountain pen evangelist, well, this is a good one to keep in your toolbox. This is a good pen for that. There are others as well in the same price range that turn out to be really good and expensive pens, but this one, I think it deserves a place in that. Maybe the only other con I would say is that being a less common in the U.S., at least, cartridge style, although you got the internet, that could be a con for some people. It's not an international standard. It is that other size, but it does take cartridges, and it does come with a converter at $1.40. So just pull the trigger on this one. It's a great little pen. God bless you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.